Welcome to the newest edition of the Blackhawks Hockey Central podcast. I am Joe Vitali, and that is Skoks. Today, action-packed episode, surprisingly, for July 26th. So, got to start off with some sad news, unfortunately, and the passing of Rocky Wirtz, the owner of the Chicago Blackhawks, giving the reins fully now to Danny Wirtz, his son. A little bit of a complicated legacy, but he is definitely the reason for the success and the revival of the Chicago Blackhawks franchise when he took over. They weren't even broadcasting games on TV, and so he took over, I want to say, in 2007, and then that's when Patrick Kane, he got drafted right there, first overall. And then 3 years later, they win the cup. So, there was 5,000 seats, 5,000 people in the United Center. Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook were there. They remember that. So it wasn't too long ago. You remember those guys. Those guys were the best.
Mm-hmm.
So condolences to the Wirtz family. Unfortunate that his legacy was tainted by a situation in 2010. We all know about it, and but he is the reason for Blackhawks hockey revival and hockey in the Midwest, Chicago. So really unfortunate. Now this is truly a new leaf in the Chicago Blackhawks organization.
Yeah, a weird coincidence, actually. So the grandfather, right? Rocky's dad, Bill, right? Was it Bill?
Bill.
He passed away in, was it 2008, when the last time the Hawks had the number one pick, Patrick Kane, right? And he passed away before he could see Kaner like on the ice, playing regular season. And then it's a weird coincidence that Rocky passed away the second time the Hawks have the number one pick, in our franchise history. And he was here for the lottery, everything. I saw a picture of him celebrating the lottery night, right? But unfortunately, he's not going to be here to see Bedard's debut, and that's just like the weirdest thing ever, right? Like your father passes away in the same exact situation, like with the franchise. That's, I don't know. That's just the weirdest thing ever, right?
Very, very strange, yeah. So,
yeah.
But at least that means that in 2027, 2027, and then it'll be 2030 and 2030, 2031, and 2032 are all Stanley Cups coming to the Chicago Blackhawks. Here we go.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but just condolences to the family, right, and the Hawks organization, because everyone knows who he was, right? Obviously, everyone works with him, but a few hiccups down the line towards the end, especially at the town hall, right? When he
that was a tough look.
Yeah, he blew up on Philip Thompson. Nice guy. Met him at Fifth Third one time, but that's it was a weird situation, but great for the franchise. Brought us back, saved us, right? But
no doubt.
Yeah, condolences. Yeah, definitely.
And he was very instrumental in bringing back the alumni, the Stan Mikitas, your Bobby Hulls, Chris Chelios, Dennis Savard. I heard a story today because the Blackhawks Talk
Mhm.
NBC Sports Chicago, they put out a nice piece, nice podcast tribute to Rocky, and they interviewed Edzo and why am I blanking on his name? The play-by-play guy, Pat Foley. Holy
Yeah.
crap, that was bad. Uh, so it was Pat Foley and Edzo, and you know, Pat Foley mentioned that Stan Mikita wanted to grab some tickets to a Hawks game,
Hmm.
and
Charged
like,
him for it.
and they charged him,
Yep.
and so that was when Rocky came in. That's not happening. That's not whatever they need. They're gonna get, and they all those legends of the Blackhawks franchise, became ingrained ambassadors into the team and helped revitalize the franchise. So,
Right.
you know, he did a lot of good for this team, for the town, very involved philanthropically. So it's unfortunate, but, you know, uh, we got happier stuff to talk about. And so it's Bedard season.
Hmm.
And Samuel Savoie, he
Yep.
just signed his ELC today, I want to say, right? Or was it
It
yesterday?
was yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
The
So yeah,
25th. Yep.
nice. Yeah, so all the days are blending together, my man.
Hmm.
So Samuel Savoie plays for in the QMJHL,
Hmm.
the Gatineau Olympiques, and posted career highs in all totals
Yep.
last season. So 26 goals, 33 assists, 59 points, 60 games played. The season before 21-22, 64 games played, 18 goals, 15 assists for 33 points. So the guy's adding, 26 points,
Yeah.
and 8 of those are goals, which is
Right.
nice. And then, 13 games played, 8 points in the playoffs.
Hmm.
And, you know, everyone sees him sort of as an Andrew Shaw type.
Hmm.
And, it's been brought up to him. So there's an interview with him and they're like, yeah, so we kind of see like an Andrew Shaw type. What do you think? And he was really stoked about that comparison. He says, you know, yes, he's one of the guys I model my game after,
Hmm.
him and like sort of a Brad Marchand, but
Right. Right. Brad Marchand.
the QMJHL has taken away fighting, which me, at first I was going to be like, what the heck? Why would you do that? This is
Mm-hmm.
terrible. Get my inner boomer out.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm thinking to it again, and it's like, okay, well, sometimes you have guys who get in there at like 15, and then you can
Right.
stay there till like you're 20.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, why does a 20-year-old need to beat up a 16-year-old,
Hmm.
It's kind of weird, and
Right.
I don't like that.
No. Yeah. So I actually had this hockey website, right, and I tuned into one of Gatineau's games, and it was like mid second period. There was a scuffle, right? Um, Savoie, he had no helmet on, and he's just like pushing everyone
Nice.
uh, in front of the net, right? Like after the whistle. So he's obviously trying to defend someone, right? That's great to see. But he's not fighting, so that's all right. Yeah, but just a major uptick in like his offense. Because when I did tune into some of his games, right, you could see the skill that he has, and maybe he's not um fully like fledged as that Andrew Shaw, but his offensive skill is much better than Andrew Shaw's was, because Shaw would score in front of the net most of the time. I mean, you didn't see him as like a sniper,
A
but
big net front guy for
yeah,
sure.
big net front guy. Um, when I watch Savoie, he loves to set up guys, and he loves to shoot. Not
Nice.
just in front of the net, but down the circle, down the slot. He's skilled. He reminds me of like a like our late round draft pick Jalen Lipin. Like you didn't really think much of him as a seventh round guy, but he has some serious skill, and yeah, that's great to see that he's under contract, and he won't be joining the Hawks this year, so he'll probably be going back to Gatineau. But that's great to see that he's in the fold, right?
Yeah, and I think the main reason is that when Gatineau's season ends, he can go to the Rockford Ice Hogs and
Right.
play there.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be nice. And you got to think that maybe the less physical aspects of the QMJHL
Mm-hmm.
is motivating him to make this move. It's not going to be the sole purpose. Obviously, he wants to get in games. He wants to get in pro games. He wants to start making a difference, getting his career on the right track, which third round pick,
Mm-hmm.
great. That if he can carve himself a nice little pro career out, hey
Right.
man, more power to him. Great
Definitely.
for him.
Yep. Um, yeah, and there's just some a few other signings that also happened a few days ago. Starting with like Tony D'Angelo, 27 years old. He signed with the Hurricanes, so he re-signed. I
Right. So
suppose. Yeah.
they were gonna trade him,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
then it
Right.
was like, okay, well, he needs to like there, one full calendar year needs to go by so that they can make the trade and
Mm-hmm.
Flyers. And so he got bought out twice, only player in NHL history, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, they don't need the dates, they don't need anything. He's not under contract. There's no assets being, you know, uh, going back and forth. So, you know, yeah, I mean, I look at him as a diet Eric Carlson,
Right.
really offensive, good, skates well, moves the puck well, shoots, got a nice shot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the player, good. The person,
Yeah. Not so
don't really
much.
care about that.
Yeah.
But, Rod Brindamore, Rod the Bod has been able to squeeze all of his potential out. And,
Mm-hmm. Right.
you know, he was in Philly. I'm not going to say there's a giant spotlight in Philly, especially right now, but those are passionate fans and they
Mm-hmm.
love their team. They love the Flyers. They love Flyers hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's going to Carolina. I'm not going to say no one cares about Carolina, but the spotlight is not there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it is.
Right.
So, maybe the pressure's off him a little bit. He's only getting 1.675. I mean, just from the Canes, he's getting two teams paying his salary right now, which is
Wow.
pretty sick. You got
Yeah.
two teams cutting you checks. You're making boatloads of cash. You're playing the greatest sport on earth.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And then,
Um,
yeah,
Sticking with Carolina, right?
of course,
Sebastian Aho signs his
big ticket,
big
big
ticket
ticket.
deal. I mean that's a major deal for the Hurricanes. And Elliot Friedman did mention this was the or Frank Saravalli. He mentioned that this was the biggest deal in Hurricanes franchise history. Um, will push Aho's career earnings to 123 million. So that's
78 sheets.
that's major money, man. Major.
78 sheets. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, that is so much money.
Right. 8-year deal, 9.75 million AAV, right, per year, but that's a monster deal. I
Monster
mean, that
deal, but
is a
he's
long
worth it.
deal.
He's
Yeah.
worth it. I think that's a great. He's getting
Hmm.
paid $250,000 more than Seth Jones right now. So
Right,
I think
right.
that's a great ticket.
Hmm.
78 schmil, man. That is a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and the Canes, they don't like to throw around money like that. So,
No.
but this is their guy. So
Hmm.
this is one of their franchise players, Aho, Svechnikov, Slavin,
Hmm.
however you want to say it.
Right.
And those are their guys, and they're sticking to them, which I appreciate.
Hmm.
And they're going to make a lot of noise. They're with the addition of Tony DeAngelo,
Hmm.
that is probably the best defense core in the league right now.
Right, and Brent Burns is still sticking around. I
Still
believe.
there.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Orlov, Slavin, Burns, Shea,
Hmm.
Pesci, D'Angelo, Coughlin, Chatfield.
Right.
Chatfield, he's been a nice surprise, come up from the Chicago Wolves and really made a great splash.
Hmm.
Dylan Coughlin, 25 years old, young cat.
Hmm.
He's bounced around a little bit, so he's obviously got some value. And, I think, I mean, Brett Pesci, great two-way guy,
Hmm. Yeah.
only 28 years old.
Right.
Brady
Great
Shea,
depth.
I had a buddy play against Brady Shea,
Oh wow.
and he said he was going to go fight him, and he went back to the bench, and he's like, I'm gonna fight that Brady Shea dude.
Really?
And all his teammates were like, "You do not want to do that. You do
No.
not want to do that. Please don't do that." And he's like, "Why? What's up?" And he's like, "Dude, that guy doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He
Yeah.
will beat the brakes off you, and he won't even blink. You
Yeah.
won't even think about it." So needless to say, my buddy did not drop the gloves with him.
Hmm.
So it was.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so funny. Because he's bounced around a little bit too, kind
Yep.
of.
Right. Right.
And I remember him on the SNL skit with Chance the Rapper on
Oh wow.
when he was on the it wasn't him, but it was his name. So he
Right.
was on
Right.
the Rangers at that time.
Yep.
And he's a really good player and
Oh yeah.
good defenseman, and I think he might be available.
Yeah.
Uh,
Soon. Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
so he's pending UFA, so he definitely will be available next offseason.
Right.
But they got 8 defensemen right now, and
Hmm.
all of those. I mean, I guess you could health bomb Chatfield and Coughlin,
Hmm.
um, but I don't. You'd have to check about with waivers and whatnot, and probably don't want to lose those guys for free.
Yeah. e- Exactly. Yeah. Super deep depth. Just unreal in
Yeah,
Carolina. Yeah.
and then E2 Lesterainen in
Yep.
Florida, he
Right.
got a
Right.
nice little deal, three mil a year.
Right.
Great
25 years
middle
old
six
only.
guy. Yeah.
Yep. Hmm. Uh,
6'3", 184, maybe a couple more Cuban sandwiches or something. I don't know what they're eating in Miami nowadays.
yeah. Let's see here. Alexis Gendron, possibly 19 years old, Philadelphia. ELC. So I'm not sure what pick he was in the draft.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe he was. Let's
it
see
does
here.
not say right now.
He's spent 4 years in the queue, so
Wow.
I'm going to guess
Huh.
2022
Uh huh.
seventh round, 220 overall.
Wow.
Wow,
Jeez.
that is
Yeah.
that's a
That's
lot.
quite a pick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's far back. Those guys don't. That's like
Yeah.
you're looking at your like Louis Crevier right there.
Right. Right.
That's their
Exactly.
their Louis Crevier.
Could be. Um, Colorado doing a little movement, right? Nikolai Kovalenko, 23
Yeah,
years old, ELC, nothing too crazy, but just locking some guys in because obviously Colorado is not that deep right now in their prospect pool, right? But
right.
yeah, bringing
They
back.
did it. Yeah, they did a nice
Mhm.
little bit of work. Oh, it looks. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I was mistaken. This guy, Ben Myers, he did go to the University of Minnesota, but he was not drafted. He was signed. He was a college free agent.
Oh, I see.
So
I see.
he tore it up in the Frozen Four,
Right.
and they were like, you know what? Come on down. We need the
Yeah.
depth. Let's
Uh
see
huh.
what you got. And I want to say he was playing with another one of their prospects, but I
Hmm.
could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
And then from the most recent draft, 2023, Samuel Hanzik.
Mm-hmm.
He was we if you remember from our draft uh, shows, we wanted the Hawks to take him, but
Yeah.
he was too low.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to get to 19.
No, and surprisingly, Oliver Moore did, right? And we didn't expect him, but
No, we did not.
no, but we already covered that one. But that's crazy how that works, right?
Well,
That's
he's from Trenton, where Marion Hossa is from.
is he?
So
Yep,
Chicago
yep,
Blackhawks great Marion Hossa, Trenton, Slovakia, and so is
yep.
Samuel Hanzak.
Wow.
And if we want to, we're talking about other people's
Mm-hmm.
prospects. Well,
Right.
we can talk about our own here. So Hockey Canada
Mm-hmm.
invited 3 Chicago Blackhawks prospects to their national junior team summer meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Korchinski, Paul Ludwinski, Samuel Savoie. Look at that. Samuel Savoie. Everything is coming up Samuel Savoie right now. That's
That's
awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Savoie Ludwinski was it?
Ludwinski.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great, man. Two grinder players, skilled, speedy, right? And good old Corch, just gonna tear it up,
He
just
is
tearing it
going to
up.
tear it up. Yes,
He,
he will.
I mean, this is great.
Yeah.
Team Canada gained some talented players right now, but Team USA, they are also hosting their World Junior Summer Showcase, right? And one, two, three, four Blackhawks prospects were invited to that. Frank Nazar, Oliver Moore, obviously, Gavin Hayes. That's awesome to
Yeah.
see him get bumped up there
Flint
after.
Firebirds, right?
Right, right.
Right. Cool.
Flint after his uh, explosion of a year, right? Just unreal. And Sam Renzel, because he was with the development program with the U.S. team. So that's good to see them bring him back up, Sam Renzel. So 4 prospects. They are going to be scrimmaging, right, in an exhibition game this weekend, I believe Saturday. So that will be awesome to see some
Oh,
prospects.
I agree.
Hmm.
And Renzel Moore, both teammates at the University of Minnesota, correct?
Right, right, right.
Perfect. That's
Awesome.
awesome. So they're going to be on the ice with the national team,
Hmm.
and they're going to be getting with those high skill, high end players, and
Hmm.
then they're going to go to Minnesota and they're going to do it all again.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great. Great
Everything's
stuff.
coming up Hawks now.
Hmm.
Let's
Great stuff.
go.
Speaking of prospects, right? Not too far away. Uh, Pretty similar situation with some other guys, but the Arizona Coyotes, Elliot Friedman reported earlier today. Nothing was done, right? As of yet with the contract, but Logan Cooley, he's expected to sign his ELC this week and play for the Coyotes. He, I guess, had a change of heart recently, and hey, I want to play in the NHL, right?
Yeah, speaking of those Golden Gophers,
Right.
that would have been some of that elite talent that Renzel and Moore would have been playing with.
Right. Right.
Probably juiced Moore's numbers pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So looks like Connor Bedard might have a little bit of uh, little rivalry here. Not a rivalry per se,
Hmm.
just some competition, some
Oh
healthy
yeah.
competition for the Calder Trophy. Uh,
Definitely. Yeah.
Logan Cooley, because 39 games played for 60 points
Hmm.
uh, in the NCAA. So you're playing against men there,
Hmm.
and University of Minnesota is a great program.
Hmm. And we covered it a few days ago or last week, right? The Calder race, and the competition is definitely going to be tight, man. I mean, we mentioned a few names before: Cooley, Fantilli, Carlson, Wallstedt, the goalie from Minnesota,
Mm.
um, a few other names. Luke Hughes with the New Jersey Devils. I mean, this season is going to be really one to watch. I mean, if you want to get back into hockey, or if you just want to get into to the sport, right? This is the year to watch exciting hockey. This would be
I
the season,
I agree.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be a tight one.
definitely. And the Coyotes aren't throwing in the towel. They aren't still in full-fledged rebuild mode.
Right.
They've got Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, Jason Zucker, Alex Kerfoot,
hmm
Nick Bukestad, Dylan Genther, Zach Sanford,
hmm
you know, Sean Dursey, Troy
Right.
Stetcher. These guys are not like their defense can use a lot of work, but I
hmm
mean, Karel Vejmelka and Connor Ingram as a tandem
Yeah.
for almost $5 million.
Could be
That's
worse.
great. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could
Definitely.
be much worse. Could be the Toronto Maple Leafs and
Oh
Matt
yeah.
Murray going to be on LTI retirement, it looks like.
Exactly. For the 2023-2024 season, I'm guessing that's about it. I mean, he had a long run, pretty successful run. But seems like that's about it for Matt Murray. Um,
Yeah. Just can't stay healthy, made of
mhm.
glass, unfortunately. Great player, two-time cup champion,
Right,
you
right.
know.
hmm
He put up respectable numbers. It's
Definitely.
just, can't stay healthy, and it's just bad luck at that point, and that's unfortunate. You don't
Right.
really want to see guys go out like that.
hmm Yeah. I mean, it's just taxing, right? I mean, he was like 6'3", not sure on his weight, but he was super lengthy. I mean, a super lengthy goalie, right? You would think he was like 6'5", 6'6", but he was only 6'3". But his limbs, arms, and legs were just super lengthy. Yeah,
Yeah,
taxing, and it leads to injury down the road. Yeah,
it's a tough position, the goaltender,
definitely.
for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
As
hmm
as much as it is mental, it is very physical as well.
Oh yeah. And just a few statements, right? Um, Going back to the Rocky news, Patrick Kane posted his condolences. Jonathan Tays, just a few legends reaching out, but not not much else on the news front the last few days. Yep.
Yeah, I saw Brent Sopel also did he had a statement as well,
Right.
because he had kind of a little come to Jesus moment about his career when
Oh,
he got
really?
brought in. He was like, hey, you're being brought in to mentor the young kids, to show them what it means to be a pro,
Really?
and so he changed his game, Brent Sopel, that is, and
Yeah.
he started eating pucks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Yeah.
and going in early, staying late, and that dude's a character, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
doing a lot of work, a lot of philanthropic work with dyslexia right now,
Right.
which I think is noble, and
Yeah.
so he won a cup. He's a cup champion. He
Right.
climbed the mountain and he put in the work. So really,
Yeah.
really cool. Glad he did. Glad that happened.
Yeah. I did hear one comment from Mr. Brent Sopel. I I'm pretty sure it might have been recently, within the last few months, right? He was mentioning, or he was asked what he thought of like the trick shots, like the Michigan, or you're
Oh
flipping,
yeah.
yeah, or you're flipping the puck like over the net, slapping it in, and he responded something like, "Oh, I would cut that kid like first second."
Oh,
or like he would bench him first, second. I mean, that's not really what's it called? Evolving the game, really,
no,
But
no. That's a little dino. Yeah, that's
yeah,
a bit of a dino sitch right there.
yeah. Sopa was just taking it a little old school, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's an old school guy. He
yeah,
played in that era, so
right. Yeah, funny guy, funny guy. But
really funny guy.
yeah,
All
hmm
right, well, I think that's going to do it for this edition of the Chicago Blackhawks Hockey Central podcast presented by Breaks Media. I am Joe Vitali. That is Skoks. Action-packed week, really, and
hmm
some really good news for the Chicago Blackhawks. And I think they're on the up. They're climbing, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the week and a great weekend. And go Hawks!
let's go Hawks.